We found simply the biggest one they had. It honestly is the biggest one they had at this launch.
We're in Texas.
Yes.
You know,
there's plenty of space.
It is nice to be in a vehicle, in a car, in a truck that is so specifically designed for its market, but this does not work in every market. It is the new 2022 Toyota Tundra. It's the Platinum Edition. We're going to do some off-roading, but this is huge.
This is as big as they make it. They make it here in Texas. We're in the San Antonio area, which is actually where the truck is built as well. And the key thing here is we are in the largest one they make on this new platform. They have various sizes. This is the extra long cab, the extra big cab, but they're now offering that, which used to only come with a 5.5-foot bed. This one's now offered with a 6.5-foot bed. So this is as big as the new Tundra is, with as big as the cabin gets, which is big as the bed can be possibly. This is massive.
You're watching Everyday Driver. We make a TV show, podcast,
and YouTube channels dedicated to great cars, driving adventures, and helping you find a car you'll love.
subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a thing.
Well, first impressions after hearing all the specs and stats.
And driving the prior one, too.
Yeah. This sounds good because
It does.
Toyota is no longer putting V8s in their pickup trucks. The last vehicle at this point that has a V8 is the Sequoia. But from here on out, there's no more V8s. It is a twin-turbo V6 in two different flavors. There is just this, the iForce, and then there's the Max, which is a hybrid. It is a parallel electric motor sandwiched between the engine block and the transmission, the 10-speed transmission.
10-speed transmission, yes.
This truck sounds good. They have designed mechanical feel and sound into it to overcome buyers' trepidation for not getting a V8.
That's a good point, yeah. But the other thing that's interesting is that this is the engine and transmission and a lot of the technology, if you will, that they debuted in the Lexus LS.
Yeah.
This is that same, we took the V8 out of the Lexus LS, which you and I have talked about.
It's derived from that block.
It is.
All the way back.
So this is that thinking all the way down to the 10-speed. Now, they've set up differently with how the turbos work and how the transmission interacts so that it is a truck drivetrain and not a Lexus LS drivetrain. But it's interesting that it was pioneered for that. It was engineered for that, and now they put it into this truck. Your V8 went away, which in trucks is kind of like a what are you doing?
This makes even more power and torque than the V8. So you can't say, well, no replacement for displacement. Toyota just proved you wrong because this is 5 horsepower more and 80 pound-feet more torque than the last V8.
And that's
you get into this, listen to that. That sounds good. I don't care if it's manufactured noise or not.
Yeah, it does.
That just sounds good. And there's just a mechanical feel. You're feeling the engine. You're feeling the truck, which is part of the ownership experience.
Absolutely. Well, it's part of the truck experience. And they've done other things to refine this, but they've kept a truck feel, which
very much so.
One of the issues that we had with the last Tundra, which was around forever in car terms. It's been around since 07. It's a 14-year run on the prior generation. That is one of the longest running cars in modern history, honestly. And there is a big discussion in trucks. I get it. Ain't broke, don't fix it. I understand. I want my V8. I want my old school. I don't want new tech. I know that those of you watching, there are those of you out there, but there's also a lot of tech that's come into cars in the last 10 years,
yeah,
14.
For sure.
So they've got a huge screen now available, 14-inch screen. They've completely rethought their interface. They're very proud of their interface. Of course, you can still use Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all that works.
They should be, actually.
It is actually a very good interface.
Hey, Toyota.
What do you want to do?
All right, well, speaking of old school, you got to listen to this turn signal. It is, I think, the loudest turn signal you and I have ever heard since about the 80s, maybe?
Yeah, since the 80s, yes.
That's just a giant click. We're turning now.
I don't care how loud your music is. You're going to hear that turn signal.
I'm liking this truck already because the numbers are high. This is a big truck, but the power overcomes any of this huge feel. You still feel like you're in a big truck, but that's part of the ownership experience. And sound sells. That is proof that Toyota knows sound sells. You feel like you're in something just tough, angry. The numbers: 389 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque out of a twin-turbo V6. That's no longer a, oh, you downgraded. This is the good engine. The hybrid only gives you more.
Yes.
And that's really in the torque department. But it goes up to, what, 580 or so?
583 pound-feet of torque in the hybrid version. Yes, absolutely.
That's a lot.
That's a ton, yeah.
The Other big difference here is multi-link rear suspension.
Yes,
and they do
that's
have
a big
adaptive
change.
variable suspension. They've got the air suspension on the rear, and that has changed the ride quality for both of us, I think.
It certainly improved it. Now, it still is a big truck. You and I are not truck people at our core.
8%
We're sports
of me
car
is.
people. 8% of you is a hardcore truck person, by the way. We'll lose you at SEMA. The thing is, a lot of trucks have what we describe as a high-frequency noise. They just have a buzz about them. The buzz has gone away, which is nice. It does still feel large. It still has a truck feel. You brought up a point earlier about being in Texas and driving a truck. You don't have a lot of little vibration creating parts of the road. So I think if you're used to driving a truck on roads that are good, you're not even going to notice the high frequency vibrations we talk about. But I can tell they're tamped down here.
Designed in California and Michigan, the engine was built in Alabama. The entire truck is assembled in San Antonio, Texas. It's just for here. It's made for this.
One of the reasons that it's taken so long for the Tundra to come back is because of the reluctance and also lack of understanding in the Japanese home market at Toyota for the importance of pickup trucks, because this is not something that sells anywhere other than essentially North America.
Right here.
And this is something that has been selling at around 100,000 units a year. To give you perspective, that is about 20% as much as Ford and Chevy sells of their big trucks. Toyota would like to keep about those same sales numbers. I think if you're a Toyota fan, this is checking all the boxes. The only question that you're probably having if you have bought Toyota products before is, wait a minute, you got rid of that proven V8 and that transmission, and you've gone with new tech. That's a little concerning if your number one concern is, I want that V8 from Toyota because I know it runs. Okay, Toyota's been doing V6 turbos and especially hybrids for a long, long time, and it is Toyota. I'm not that concerned about it, but yes, in that regard, your V8 went away.
Time to get into it.
Nice.
Yeah,
there you go. Good. Excellent.
Listen to that. That sounds good. Wow. Left a little bit of rubber back there.
You did. The back got out a bit. I was
Pretty
impressed.
pleased with that.
You should be. The back's real light. Be careful. Yeah.
Dang, this thing is huge.
It is. This is the biggest one they make. That's the one we crawled into. We're like, sure, we'll take this one.
The interesting thing to me about sitting here is that I feel like I'm down in it. Where there's other pickup trucks that you feel like you're sitting up high and on top of the truck, which is why people like pickup trucks. But the instrument panel, the cowl is so tall here. You've got this huge hood ahead of you and you're down in it. If you like that protective feel around you and you like to be in this huge thing, you're going to love this truck. It's enormous. And speaking of big, have you seen the vents?
The vents are huge.
They're Texas vents.
The thing that's funny is, you tease me about complaining about the size of vents and wanting them up high and wanting them to actually blow a lot of air. Here is a truck built in Texas, and it has phenomenal air conditioning vents. They're big, they're high, they're ready to blow a lot of air. Yes.
I have to admit.
Now, while driving in Texas, in a Texas-built truck, you're going, oh, I now get it for the first time. Apparently, I have a thing about vents, but these do it well, for sure.
Well, as you can see from the exterior, this styling is rather aggressive. It's all about the grille. The different trim levels magnify the grille either more or less. Surrounded in chrome, it's huge. But I like the TRD Pro version that kind of, even though it still looks big.
It's huge. We've been teasing the Lexus Maw forever, since it first existed, the Lexus Predator Maw. We named it that pretty much the day they released it and kind of went, yikes, that's a choice. Now we have the BMW Beaver Teeth, which is very questionable. But this is taking from all of that, where how big can we make our grille? The grille is just... Also, look at this. The lights have gotten really, really small, and so what do we accentuate in the front? Grill. It's crazy. And every one of the trims has their own little grill. If you want to be a Toyota savant, you can learn what the different grills are, so you can tell from looking in your rearview mirror which Toyota Tundra that is. But they're all massive. When you surround it in chrome, it's just too much. It's too much.
The design language is called technical muscle. You can see it. It works. It's a theme to rally around, and it very much explains all of the huge surfaces on this. But since the truck is so big, the designers have to do something with the surface to either create a highlight or create a feel to it. And it's all about the wheel arches. Have you noticed the wheel arches on this truck? It's a negative surface to accentuate the fact that this is a big truck. It's the wheel arches that define the entire character. So it's wheel arches, grille, and everything else as a secondary or tertiary kind of design or highlight. But the cool thing is that continues. They're huge, big elements all over this interior. You feel like you're in a big space in here. It's like a living room.
Yes.
The designers, everybody's talking to each other. And the theme feels consistent throughout, but it feels easy to use. It's very clear to your eye. It's not new buttons in new locations. It's very clear and easy to use. Now, how does this work? Oh, okay, I understand. It's very clear, very easy.
And a lot of these buttons and switches and the setup of this feels like it was thought about how it would fit in this truck. Sometimes we get into big trucks and it feels like you use the switches from the thing you're using in your small car and they found your way into a truck here. There's obviously always overlap, but these, I mean, look at this line of buttons right in front of the shifter here and the shifter itself. I mean, this stuff feels big and purposeful for truck usage, which is fascinating and very good.
All right, you got to drive this thing.
All right, yes, driving. Everybody look at the grill. Good. You have big grab handles, and this has got the sideboards on it because this one's got a lot of extra stuff on it. It's gotten a lot easier to tell when you have a TRD Pro in front of you because they've stamped it into the rear tailgate.
I'm joking. Now, what is that model?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure which oh, it's the TRD Pro.
I feel like I'm 8 years old, like way down in the truck. I feel like I'm so down in here that I'm
say that.
I'm driving with Dad.
I'm 6'3", so is Paul. We're
the same height. We're just
I have a lot more torso. I have a lot of trouble fitting in a lot of cars. I mentioned to Paul earlier, this is the first vehicle we've been in a long time where I got in it and thought, I feel small in this.
It's amazing.
And almost every single time I'm in anything, even trucks, I'm always about, how comfortable am I? Now, in the back, they've got cutouts for your head. There's plenty of room, but they've got cutouts for your head if you're tall. But this is the first thing in a long time I've driven and I've just thought, I feel small in here. That gives you an idea of the scale of this truck. The seats are massive. They are also built for massive people in every dimension. They are built for every kind of size. You are right. Because of this dashboard and how high this is,
real tall,
it really does make you feel like you're down in the truck, even though you're really high compared to everybody else.
Tall guys.
Yes.
This fits just fine. And I also noticed that the seating in the rear is a bit like stadium seating.
Oh.
So you have to have a cutout, but your passengers can kind of see out too.
Yep. Now, if you get the hybrid version, it actually has some of the hybrid batteries underneath that seat. Otherwise, there's under-seat storage. But there's also behind-the-seat storage that exists in no matter what version. What's interesting is if you don't get the TRD Pro, you get the lesser models like the SR and the SR5, you can get an off-road pack that gets you a lot of the TRD stuff added to your non-TRD model. Oh, thank God for pointing an arrow. I didn't get confused.
Oh, good. I was going
to try to go straight, but I guess because the arrow says go right,
straight
I'll go right.
Seems appropriate.
Agreed.
Toyota has set up a nice course for us. It's a little bit of everything, and it's not the most extreme off-road because they have to understand that not everybody is in love with off-roading. But
absolutely, and here you're buying a brand new truck for off-roading. This is probably not what you're buying anyway. Off-roading is your primary purpose.
You're right.
You're not buying a truck like this.
You're towing your off-roader to go off-roading.
Yeah, that's true as well, yeah. Huh. Okay, well, look, Ma, no feet. The key thing there is crawl control. Now, that's a little button right here behind this knob, and then you turn the knob and you change what your speed is. It's off-road cruise control. So what I did there is, as soon as I turned the corner and pointed it up, I took my foot off of everything, and the truck just crawled up on its own.
That's all good. That's crawl control uphill.
Uphill, yeah, which I'm used to it down, but this was just, I climbed that back there with both my feet tucked up against the seat. Weren't even anywhere near the pedals.
Makes it easy.
Craziness.
I think what this best demonstrates is the stiffness for this truck. Because you could argue that most four-wheel drives could do something like this.
Yeah, you're right. You can tell how stiff the body is.
There's not a rattle. There's
That's true.
Nothing. We are in 4 low, and you want to make sure you're in crawl mode up to the number 2 setting, and my feet are off the pedals. We're doing articulation over the logs. Come on, truck. Come on, baby. There it is. I did not do that. Come on. Let it do its thing. I'm letting it think. Feet are off the gas and the brake. Just letting the truck do its thing. Look, nothing right now. It's autonomous off-roading. I was so enthralled by the system, I forgot to steer. The truck's just going to entertain me off-road. Like, oh, that's right.
I'm the passenger
I'm still in charge.
That's really funny. That's very funny and terrible. And that's not even the TRD Pro. It's got the TRD package on top of a lesser model. It's not the TRD Pro, and it's great. You know, it's not
but
any
lesser.
issues.
This is not lesser. The other thing about the interface here is it's simple. It's as easy to figure out as any of these mechanical buttons are. So they have partnered with Google, so the maps pinch and tap and swipe just like you're used to. Mm-hmm. And they're connected to your preferences in the cloud too. So when you get in, it's connected to your memory seats. So all your preferences are loaded not just into the nav, but into the vehicle as well.
The vehicle
and 2 phones at once. So that's something people were asking for.
There's lots of systems that can connect to both phones in the car, but the difference is that a lot of times when that's the case, if the one that's not primary rings right now, it doesn't come through. This is both devices that are connected at the same time. Like if either one of us, either Paul or I got a call right now, that's the phone that would ring through on the system.
Right. We just still have to say, honey, I'm in the car with people, don't say anything.
You do. You have
little risque.
That is, if you have a significant other that calls you and ever says anything questionable, I'm telling you, save yourself a fight. And the minute they call and it's on the car, say you're on the car with others, you'll save yourself a fight. I guarantee you. I have no idea how I know that. Other things Toyota has done that I know these are industry standard, but I just don't understand it. The level of trailer assist in here is supreme.
It's superb.
If you are at the boat ramp, and 2 different people in the whole press briefing told us this. If you're at the boat ramp and you get your boat lined up to the ramp, your boat is straight and ready to go in the water, but your truck is way askew one way or the other.
They're worried about Billy Bayliner.
You remember
Don't be Billy Bayliner.
The days when you have your boat like that and you go, okay, hang on I need to do the
well, you got this. I got this.
I got it. Wait, no, it's that way with the. You'll never do that again. That's what they're trying to stop you from doing, where once you get it in, it is the straight backing assist. They have a different name for it. But essentially, what you do is you tell the truck what's on the trailer is correct, and the truck fixes itself. Now, on one level...
Impressive.
Very impressive.
Amazing.
Really cool. Amazing you figured that out, and it stops people from being idiots on the boat ramp. On the other part of the equation, I have to ask this question. Shouldn't you learn? Shouldn't you actually learn how to back? If you have a trailer and you're going to haul your boat or your ATVs or whatever, shouldn't you learn to do that?
Don't use logic. Don't ask people to do things.
Toyota's not the first to do stuff like this, but I can't believe we are taking away the learning aspect and just let the truck do it.
Totally. I will play devil's advocate for a tiny bit.
Okay.
What if this is your first big pickup truck?
Fair.
And you don't know. Now, we recommend learning.
Yes, we do.
But what if this is your first and you haven't learned yet and you're not quite comfortable? I do like that technology has allowed us to have safety systems like this to be able to do that. I just don't want humanity to start relying completely on those safety systems and never learn anything. But nevertheless, it's cool that it is here and it works so well.
I'm going to get a letter from a lawyer at Toyota when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you're having the trailer assist backing feature is backing up your big monster boat on the end of this big monster truck, and it accidentally runs into something, and you can say, I didn't have my hands on the wheel because the truck was doing it for me because that's what you sold it to. Who's at fault? Whose fault is that? Because I guarantee you the guy's boat you ran into, he doesn't care. He's mad at you. I still say learn to back your trailer. But you made a good point. There are a lot of people that this is a first for them, and this is so massive that assist is going to be really helpful.
If it takes the sting out of, or the intimidation out of coming to large truck ownership, then I say great. It's beeping at you again.
It doesn't, I mean, anywhere close to that line, it's not happy.
Yeah, it's a big truck. She's big. 8% of me likes that it's this big.
I was doing 60 plus miles an hour earlier in the middle of the power band in 5th gear, which I'm not good at math, but that means there's this many left. 5 gears left.
Here's how many you aren't using.
Exactly.
5.
And it's not like as a result, therefore you get 30 miles to the gallon. This is still averaging around 20. Now, when you buy a pickup, are you worried about MPG? I don't know, but I do think it's funny you put a 10-speed transmission in something for miles per gallon savings. You still didn't break 20, and I can do 60 in 5th.
Yeah, it just depends on what you want, because if you're just driving your truck and you've got long distance, you care. But if you're towing stuff, the entire family's in the truck and you're loaded down with coolers full of food, then you don't really care at that
You're
point, right?
You're just hauling
You just
stuff,
want
and you're
power,
excited that
and
we're all here.
You're
Yes.
willing to sacrifice fuel economy for power. The cool thing is this delivers.
Oh, I have to show you this too. That we are in a world where
Yeah, the oven door.
Yes, but it's all of it. It's all the way back.
It's
You and all the passengers. Yep.
huge.
Yep. We'll leave that on for the next couple of minutes since we're almost
You
done.
fit a gun turret coming out of this thing.
You could. Well, but here's the thing. Let's be honest.
This is going to be popular.
The late life of the Toyota pickup is in some African country with a 50 cal mount on
It's
the top.
gonna
You
be
can just take
popular.
out the glass and the problem's solved. It's
You
just going to be
supposed-
easy.
Yeah. See? Power and
Should have
sound.
turned off the trash controller. Could have had a lot more fun.
Yeah. That sounds great.
And it goes quick. It goes into this. This is a twin
Turbo.
huge truck, and it goes
It's the way to go.
surprisingly fast. I think Toyota's done a really good job. I don't think this is a truck, because we've talked about before the tattoos. If you have a Ford tattoo or a Chevy tattoo, I don't think you're coming to Toyota
No.
because of the Tundra.
No, but this is worthy. I like this truck.
This is worth cross-shopping for sure with the new ones from everybody else. I don't know that most people are going to actually do that. But I do think that Toyota's done a good job of checking the boxes for the things people loved, but actually trying after 14 years to bring it forward and make it more modern. They couldn't just do another old school truck.
I mean, it's not just like they've checked the box and just done the average. We've just gotten there. They have put their own twist on things, and they've done something that is very, very unique to them, to the point where Todd and I have accents. As we're driving this truck, we're taking on, different personas, because that's what trucks bring out in you.
We tried really hard to not make this just the big the southern review. We're in Texas.
That's
I'm in
right.
Texas, and I'm driving the new Tundra,
My truck.
built in Texas.
I just like saying it.
1794.
Big truck.
Big truck. Big,
Hanging out.
huge truck.